Hey everyone, another weekly update. I think we're setting up for a big move to the upside. I'll go over the charts and explain my reasoning and why I believe so. But before I do that, if you are enjoying my videos, if you are enjoying the alpha, the content, the ship posting on Twitter, please go ahead and leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Any support, any of your support helps me go a long way in providing and continue to provide these videos. I won't bore you guys anymore. We'll go ahead and jump into it. As always, I'll cover Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, and then we'll take a look into some of the strong performers that I think are going to continue to trend, um, and some of them, actually, mostly all of them, are in my long-term bags. If you guys have been with me for a while, you will see that these are coins that I've given out long time ago, most recently as well. But let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin first. So we didn't get exactly where I wanted to go in my last Bitcoin update. We got very close. I wanted to get into this daily order block and demand zone. Um, we got very close. We got like maybe $400 away, $500 away from the entry. Now, I'm going to reanalyze all of this. Um, we let me start a fresh clean chart here. So we still do have resistance here, okay? This is our supply zone, our resistance is clear. If we're going to draw a horizontal line, there is our main resistance. Now, as I mentioned in the last video and multiple times in my channels in the Discord, that the more a resistance is touched, or the more a support is touched, the weaker it's going to be. Okay, so this is our range highs currently, and here is our range lows. We've just been trending in this range ever since, with wicks above, but no closures above with a retest. See how over here we broke out, we retested, we closed above, and then we continued to grind another, almost 4% higher. Well, we haven't got any of that here. Okay, we had a closure above, but we never successfully retested. So until we do that, it's just going to be choppy. This is our resistance that we have to break, and I'll go to a lower time frame to analyze as well. But our range lows has been holding as well. All these candle closures above. This one had a deviation, reclaim again, and continue to go higher. And over the weekend, or not over the weekend, but I guess Friday, so I guess the weekend. This was the original entry that I had down here. Okay. This was the original entry that I wanted. We got very close to it. We actually just bounced from this previous resistance, turned into support here. So we had a support touched from there. This is close to mid-range, not exactly mid-range. But if I was able to go to a current time frame, let's go to the 8-hour. We are actually currently bull flagging here. Okay, we are at the trend line resistance. And I mean, we can draw it this way. We can draw it from the top wick here. As long as you have 3 touches of the trend line, it is a valid trend line. And we are looking for a breakout. So this is a bull flag. And depending on how you want or where you want to draw the flagpole from, you'll get different targets. Okay, I'm going to draw my flagpole from the first green impulse here. There is this one as well. These will give you different targets. Technically, our technical targets, right? But if we break out here, we are probably heading back to the 72K region where we are again faced with resistance. Now, where do we possibly go long? Okay, if we do get a pullback, then you want to look for basically this area to hold, the 68 down to 67K area to hold. So if I were to draw, whoops, Sorry, I'm making this video a little later than I wanted to, but here is our demand. Okay. So green, well, basically this area. Okay. This is our money zone. This is where we want to bid if we do get a pullback. Okay. As I mentioned, Bitcoin has been very strong. We actually took out the lows. Okay. We took, let me go to a 4-hour chart. We took all of these lows here. Okay, all of these lows, the liquidity was taken with this wick. We even actually reclaimed the range lows there and then continued to grind higher. As I mentioned, we're bull flagging, so I would love to get a pullback into this area here, anywhere from 68 to 67k to go long. So anything down here, okay. Now, if we do break out, then you have to be a little patient and wait for the retest to happen. Okay, if the retest does not happen, we have clear resistance right here. All right. So you are either looking for a bid down to the 68 to 67k region, or a breakout, rejection, come back down, retest successfully. Remember, we want to close above, retest, close above, hold. If that happens, this is your trigger to long, stops below the lows, and then you'll target 73k region, or bid down here. All right, and this is going to be a soft stop loss. If we close back down below 65k, you go ahead and close. But honestly, I'm looking for all-time highs moving up. If we go to a higher time frame, we can also see an inverse head and shoulders. Okay, I covered this last time as well. This gives you a target of, a technical target, again, of like 64, 65k. So this is the final boss. We close above this and retest. We will definitely go for that. But I'm looking for, as I mentioned, a bid in that green zone, 68 to 67k, or a breakout and flip of the trend line here. Okay, so I expect us to continue higher. In my opinion, we have not lost this daily support, 8-hour support. I'm on the 8-hour chart, but we have not lost the support. It's holding pretty well. 68k has been, or sorry, 67k has been holding pretty well. Any bids into that previous level that I gave in my last video, basically 66.3 down to 58k is also buy, but right now we're holding very well. Hopefully we have a dip before, or a dip a little bit after New York Open into that green zone, and then aim higher. All right, so that's what I'm looking for Bitcoin. Obviously, if we somehow decide to break down back below mid-range, okay, and turn into resistance, you're going to bid 62 down to 60k. Okay, so again, we're going to take it level by levels. That's what I'm currently seeing on Bitcoin, and that's how I'm going to play it. Now, ETH. Also, we missed our levels by just a little bit. Okay, I was looking for a dip into this liquidity pocket and take out all of this, fill the wick, okay, and then continue to go higher. But again, just like Bitcoin, this was previously resistance here, right? We turned into support over here, came back down, bounced from support, and then continue going higher. Now, in my opinion, I think ETH will outperform Bitcoin. Obviously with the hype of the ETF. But right now, this looks weird. Now, you will hear people say, oh, look, there's a head and shoulders for ETH. Okay? No, there's no head and shoulders. Don't listen to those idiots. All right? I will show you exactly what a head and shoulders looks like, and another example of a quote-unquote head and shoulders that did not play well. Okay? So I still would love a dip into the 3650 down to $3,500 region. If we do not get that, we will bid. We got to go to a lower time frame because I don't think Bitcoin goes much lower. So anywhere from 37.30 down to 36.50 is a buy in my opinion. I will adjust those in the Discord. I will give a detailed analysis when I wake up in the morning. But if you are setting bids and levels, anywhere from 37.30 down to 36.50 is where you want to buy. Okay, we are still at a crucial crossroad here. This is main boss around 4,000. If we flip that, this blue line from my last video, if we flip that into support, that's where you're going to bid, and then we're going to all-time highs from there. Okay. Vanry, another strong coin. This is my second biggest conviction after Ondo. I've mentioned this multiple times. We have broken. Actually, we are at supply here. We are about to flip it into support. This was one of the coins that I mentioned to buy and hold long term. If I wasn't in the Discord prior to that, then I did give an entry as well. Originally at 15.9, we went up to 20 cents, and I said we were going to compound, and we did. So hopefully you got in with that. We have a little ascending triangle here. Okay. If you did not buy, this is going to be a little bit more of a riskier play because this is a lower cap coin. I think it's less than 300 million market cap, but compared to like Bitcoin or ETH, this is going to be a little bit riskier. This is where you want to buy. Let me go to a higher time frame. I'm not adding anymore. I already added plenty, but this is your buy zone. So from basically 21 cents down to 19.5, that's where I'm honestly looking for price to do something like this, right into that order block. Also, trend line as well. And as I mentioned, the trend is your friend until broken. Now we are approaching, well, we did reject from this daily order block. Okay, but looking for something like that. If you're taking this on leverage, find your low time frame stops. But if you're taking this on spot, stops below the wick here, and then hopefully looking for a move up to 30 cents plus. Okay, as I mentioned, this is my second biggest conviction after Ondo. I'll go over Ando as well, but I'm looking for something like that for Vanry. Hopefully a quick pullback. Otherwise, if this area flips to support, see, resistance here, we broke down, or sorry, it was support here, we broke down, we turned it into resistance, we're rejecting here, we're hovering currently below it. Okay, you want a closure above, reclaim, and then higher. Okay, so that's it for Vanry. Next, Sol. Now, I went over this in the last video, and it played out exactly how I mentioned it would. Okay, so we had a bearish Quasimodo. Okay, I shared what that was, even put a picture there. So with a bearish Quasimodos, you have a series of higher highs, higher lows. Okay, so higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher low. We had a higher high. We broke down, we closed below the last higher low point, making a lower low, and then back to the neckline or this order block right there. That was the rejection. Okay, making another lower high, and then at that point it gave you a move of about 7% to the downside. Okay, now I'm gonna draw a clean chart. I would still, now Sol is pretty weak compared to other coins. Okay, now the Sol community knows how I feel about them. They are the most annoying pieces of shit on the Twitter sphere in the space. And these meme coins are just out of control sometimes, but we're all in the space to make money, and that's what I applaud them for. It's just a scammy community. But if we're taking a look at Sol here, as much as I would love this 146, we would get it if Bitcoin has a huge plummet because this is so weak. But if we were taking a look at this here, all right, and we go ahead and draw some fibs, let's take it from this high to these lows here. All right, now let's go to a lower time frame. Not only do we have a daily or a 12-hour plus a daily order block here, right? If we get to 178, 180, I think that is a beautiful short to take. Stops above the wick. All right, so you enter in around, I would say 180, since that's the most resistance. All right, and then you DCA probably around 186, which is the top here resistance. All right, stops above the wick, and hopefully it puts in a lower high and continues to go down. But still, if we are taking a look at market structure, right, higher high, right? Here's a series of lower highs, or sorry, higher lows, higher highs leading up into this incline, right? Break down, made a lower high, right? Made a lower low. We broke market structure, making another lower high, lower low, rejected at basically a double top. You have an inverse head and shoulders pattern here as well. Right? Now technical targets would have been from the bottom to the neckline, from here up. That is the technical targets of the head and or the inverse head and shoulders. There is another order block, so perfect place to reject as well. But here is your higher low, and then we put in another higher low. So technically the trend is still intact. Okay, we are putting in a series of higher lows, and even now making a higher high. We had a break of structure after we broke above. This was the last lower high. We flipped it to support, right? Put in a higher high, and then we're now putting in, this is our last low, here's the low. So I would love to go into this little area, right? Reject, and maybe go into a double top and come down. But we got to be careful at this point, because for someone that doesn't like using patterns, I use them for, or just trading patterns, I use it for confluence. Okay, but if we get up there, we have a little cup and handle situation forming. So I would love a breakdown, reject, come back down before going up and retesting it, and then continue to go higher. I think Sol goes higher, but in terms of everything else, it is weaker. The market is pumping as I'm speaking, but right now you're going to play support until broken again. So if we get a nice move down, you're going to bid 159-ish. Right, if we get a move down, I'm not saying we are going to get a move down, probably stops below 154. And as a swing trader, right, your TP1 will come around here. Now, just like Bitcoin, this is forming some type of flag as well. Right, a little falling wedge flag action. Break out, it definitely is going to go there. We have some resistance here around 172, 173, but break out, retest, hold above. That's going to be another long with stops below support. Now you need the retest to happen, and you're going to long to the neckline of the cup and handle, TP1, TP2, and then you head short. All right. Link is the next one. Now Link is an example of a failed head and shoulders pattern where everyone decides to short. All right. People are seeing this. Here's your left shoulder, here's your head, and then here's your right shoulder. And then people start like, oh, like it's going to form a head and shoulders, so I'm going to short here with my stops above there, and then technical targets of link, right? I'm going to target back down to $3. If anyone on your feed, whether it's Discord or Twitter, said that, go ahead and unfollow them. Follow them back just for them to get their hopes up, and then unfollow them again. Okay. A head and shoulders pattern, you need a breakdown of the neckline. Here's the neckline if it's a head and shoulders. All right. The other one that I showed you was an inverse head and shoulders. Breakdown below. Reject from the neckline and turn into resistance, then you can market short with a stops above these highs. Now, please note, this is a bull market, right? These moves down are meant for buying. I'm not shorting. I haven't shorted the market after I got stopped out of my Bitcoin short. I haven't shorted the market, and I won't short until the cycle's over. I don't care if we fall 30%. I will long pullbacks until I am wrong, and then we have a break in macro structure. Until then, long, 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 long. Now, if I were to go back on the weekly on Link, okay, we have, I'm going to remove these. We have clear support on this line here, right? And then we battled with resistance. This is still resistance. We did not flip it to support. Okay, we closed above, but we did not hold the support line. So again, we just made a resistance. Rejection, rejection, breakout, right? The retest didn't happen till here. We closed above, and then we continued. If you longed, right, we came back down, sure, but closed above, got a 21% move up, and then we broke back down, and then again, we have not flipped it to support. Here's the breakout candle. We closed above. So if we are able to get a move back down to that area of, let me go to a lower time frame. All right. 1730 down to 1685. I think it's a buy. This is your buy zone. Okay. Again, the trend is still intact. We are making higher highs and higher lows. Sorry, I got a new puppy driving me crazy. So here's your trend line, right? We're on it right now. Break down, turn it into resistance. Now, we are making higher lows here, right? But here is on a higher impulse, but on a lower impulse, we just made a lower high. Okay, so I would love to make another lower low into that demand zone, continue to go higher. Then you have a little flag forming. Not saying it's going to happen. Little flag forming. Put in a lower high again. Okay, we can take this low, break down. This is the lower high, but again, we haven't broken market structure, so this can still be considered a lower, a higher low based on this impulse. Break out, and then target the highs again. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for on Link. Move down into that region, or if like we should, if this order block holds, then we are going to go higher, right? If this is the order block, as it's holding right now, we have trend line confluence. But I think we get a move down here. Hopefully we get an early week dip, and then this is going to be your, if you want to start a position, you could enter now, DCA, and then have the biggest bids over here, right? So if you enter in right now around like $18.10, you DCA one more time around $17.60, and then your heaviest bids will be in the $17.25 region. Okay. Next on the list is Ando. and I mentioned this many times, as I said, okay, you had multiple opportunities to buy in this consolidation area. This is comparison to TIA. Okay, I said this in the last video as well, right? Higher high, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, consolidation, right? Lows, highs, right? Consolidation, breakout, 77% move from the breakout point. What did this give? This gave about a 50% move, right? Ondo's not done. Okay, so let's go to a perp chart really quickly. If you're buying right now, it's going to be a little bit riskier. You had multiple and ample opportunities to do so. We have a demand zone here. So from 125 to 116, if you are looking for buys, this is where I would buy. Stops below the wick. Now, notice how the all-time highs here was retested. As I mentioned, when a coin goes into price discovery, you will have a retest of the highs that will hold, and usually bids are strong there. We actually bounced perfectly from it after breaking up, closed above, retested and held, and we're going higher. But if we get a dip to the 126 cents, $1.26 down to $1.14, that's where you are going to buy. I'm not saying it's going to happen. This is looking very strong, especially with Bitcoin looking strong. Now, lower time frames could look like a double top here. Okay. Double top. So lower time frame, we could actually bounce from this support here at $1.33, $1.34. Play a little range here, right? Range highs, lows, lows. And you're going to play the range until broken. And this actually did bounce again from the previous all-time high, right? So if you're going to play this range, keep playing it over and over again. If that gives, then $1.26 is going to be a nice area to bounce from. Okay. And then the last coin that I want to take a look at, and I do think that meme coins are not done, especially with GameStop right now. GameStop is having a good action in the stock market, and I think Robinhood halted the trading as well, just like back in 2021 or 22, whenever the fuck that was. Meme coins aren't done, and the biggest meme, or the earliest meme of them all, Dogecoin, has not run yet. It's starting to. All right, I got you all in this early. I think our average is 15 cents ish. Reclaim this trend line. We're going to go much higher. We are putting in higher highs, higher lows. Trend is still intact. Reclaim this trend line, we will go much higher. So I think having Dogecoin in your bag right now is smart. And then as soon as 16.5 is reclaimed, we should run higher. Okay. The other coins that I'm going to be going over, I'll cover in the Discords tomorrow. But keep your eye out on Floki, Peppy, and Dog with a Hat. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll catch you guys later.